Now comes the storm through the far-off sky. Now the waves are dancing, beat upon the drums. If you lose your nerve, this breath could be your last. But if you just hold on, the morning sun will rise. We now know that Monkey D. Luffy is the user of the mythical Zoan, human fruit, model, nigga.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is 100 Beast Kenshi bringing you One Piece, chapter 1044, Warrior of Liberation. And what a spicy meatball of a chapter it is. So let's just get the cover page out of the way. It looks like I was wrong, completely wrong. Pudding did not free the Vinsmoke children. They are still in the book and are about to be experimented on by a few of Big Mom's other children, who I don't have all the names for. And frankly, I don't really care right now. And that's because we're about to enter the fated hour, the time when the man, the myth, the legend, the return from 800 years ago, all the way from Mississippi, the one himself, the sun god nigga. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, just let me know in the comment section below. The chapter opens up with a wide shot of Zunisha looking up at Onigashima with the marine ships in the water below, and the resounding pulse, the heartbeat, the drumbeat from Luffy's awakening can be heard by everyone on Onigashima. At least that's what it looks like. Everyone who has confirmed observation haki, they sense Luffy's awakening. They sense his presence return in a very different way. What's interesting here is that of all the haki users who would be able to sense Luffy, Zoro is not present, which understandably, he may still be heavily damaged from the fight with King and the previous damage that he took when he blocked the ocean sovereignty from Kaido and Big Mom. I have been wondering, like many other people, if Zoro is going to experience an awakening in the same vein as Luffy right now, since, you know, this is the Supernova Awakening battle. So we've had Law, we've had Kid, we've got Luffy now, so Zoro still needs to have his, which is a bit strange. I would have expected to see Zoro's awakening of sorts first, but it is what it is. Surprisingly, Kid is able to sense Luffy's return, so I don't know what's going on there. I didn't think his observation was that powerful, but I guess you have to have observation haki in order to fight in these levels of battles that these guys are fighting in right now. So I'm just gonna assume that he did this whole time. Even with observation though, Captain Kid is still Captain Mid. And then we have poor old Nami and Otama crying their faces off for the loss of Luffy, only to be told by Marco that he's still breathing, you two. And I guess their tears of sorrow turn to tears of joy. Joy boy. The Holy Land, Merijois. The Hall of Power, Pangaea Castle. We sacrificed one of our best agents, an enraged Kaido. Are we sure our priorities are straight? This may be better than the alternative. It's imperative that we snuff out something this problematic. No matter the era, the world government has always failed to acquire the Gomu Gomu fruit, even after 800 years of trying. It's almost as if the fruit itself is evading us. Well, that's not impossible. All Zoan fruits have a will of their own, and this one carries the name of a god. After all, the Gomu Gomu fruit is really a mythical Zoan. It's the human fruit. Model, nigger. Its user's body gains the properties of rubber. In combat, they're supposedly only limited by their imagination, putting smiles on faces far and wide, They are the embodiment of the warrior of liberation, Sun God Nigga. Awakening exponentially strengthens their rubbery body, and they have even more freedom. It is allegedly the most ridiculous power in the world. We then return to the treasure repository on the second floor, where Hiyori is facing off against Kurozomi Orochi. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest, this part dragged on a little bit too long for me, because obviously you know what I wanted to see, the same thing that you wanted to see. So I'm gonna skip through this a little bit, but there are some important things here, and it is actually a beautifully drawn section of this week's chapter. So very briefly, the exchange between Hiyori and Orochi concerns the honor of Orochi himself, of Oden, and of samurai in general. Orochi lays on the floor begging and pleading for his life, while Hiyori explains to him why he has no honor in comparison to her father. It looks almost torturous for Orochi to be laying there under the rubble, peering into the eyes of the only woman he loved, who has come to him and told him that she is in fact the daughter of his enemy, and she has no allegiance to him. Again, this is a place where I would have expected to see Roronoa Zoro, but of course he is still dead, or in the world of the dead, attempting to become the king of the underworld. And strangely, the way this interaction plays out, Kurozomi Kanjuro, his Kazenbo, little baby Kazenbo, returns to Orochi to tell him that he has failed to destroy the castle, he has failed to destroy the bombs, and failed to carry out his mission. This point right here kind of baffles me, because for whatever reason the Kazenbo sets Orochi on fire instead of Hiyori. So the question is, did Kanjuro have some kind of allegiance to Hiyori? Or was that just Kanjuro on his last legs, unable to discern friend from foe? Maybe he just wanted to give Orochi a hug? It's hard to tell. Either way, Hiyori tells him that the dawn will come, and that the Kozuki clan always keeps its promises. And then we arrive at the main event. The place where gods are made, where dragons fall from the sky, where rubber is not meant for protecting you from fatherhood. Gear Thistle! Or maybe even Gear 5! Nigga Man! Everybody thought it was gonna be Tiger Man, it ended up being Nigga Man. Interestingly enough though, last week or the week before, when I saw Luffy begin to transform, I mentioned in that video that perhaps Gear 5 is the Conqueror's Haki coating version of Bound Man, or Gear 4, which would ultimately become Gear 5 in my mind anyway. But what we can see here, I don't know if Luffy is coated in Conqueror's Haki in the style of Bound Man, but he's emitting Conqueror's Haki all across the live floor, enough to knock out all the fodder that's down there. And the return of Monkey D himself is just fantastic. It's like he's got the Mr. Fantastic fruit. He literally reaches down and grabs Kaido as if he's a miniature dragon model or something like that, which means Luffy has gained complete control over his ability to stretch in size, which undoubtedly means that he is able to perhaps reach giant size, or big enough to wear that straw hat in Merijois. Anyway, it doesn't even matter. Luffy is manhandling Kaido right now. He's swinging him around like he was a Looney Tune and body slamming him worse than Captain Kid. Because honestly, when Kid threw Kaido before, I didn't think he felt it. But Kaido feels that. He gets up anyway though, and he sends a blast breath after Luffy. And he actually does it. He does the thing, which is mind-blowing because as far as we knew, Paramecia devil fruits When they awaken, they will give the user the ability to affect the environment. But Luffy is a mythical Zoan devil fruit user. Human fruit, model nigger. Kaido is also a mythical Zoan, fish fruit, model dragon. Kaido can also manipulate the environment, but he does so using his attacks to change the landscape. It's not like Luffy, where he's literally picked up a piece of the floor, turned it into rubber, and used it as a part of his arsenal. He uses it to redirect the blast breath back at Kaido, so he doesn't need to muscle through anymore. He just needs to bounce it back. And Kaido, you know, as this arc progresses, he already is my favorite villain in One Piece, but he's becoming my favorite villain in Shonen, I think. He turns around to Luffy and says, you know what? Sorry about that idiot from before. I didn't want to win like that. I'm glad you're back, bro. And Luffy's like,
don't sweat it, fam. Let's finish it.
Waro ro 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 ro. Easy, Monkey D. Luffy.
As you can tell, my gas levels are actually peaking right now. Peaking. So what I'm gonna have to do is switch off this laptop and go and release one of my valves somewhere in the house. So before I go, to recap, Luffy is Joy Boy. Joy Boy is a sun god. Sun gods are niggers. And remember, a sword slash to the back is a true shame to a swordsman.